Was the killer at last year's Antioch High School shooting influenced by neo-Nazis or other online extremists? Tonight, an exclusive News Channel 5 investigation revealing it appears the shooter had so-called handlers who were egging him on.
And what's even more disturbing, investigators say those same extremist groups are continuing to target children, including kids right here in the mid-state. News Channel 5 chief investigative reporter Phil Williams has spent months digging into this story. Phil, parents are going to find this shocking.
Yeah, and they should. We now know that Solomon Henderson himself left behind a recording in which he said he was motivated to kill by two of these extremist groups. They target children online around the globe, leaving behind a trail of victims like the one at Antioch High School. How do you make sense of a death so tragic?
Mi vida ya no es la misma sin ella.
It's a question that has troubled the family of 16-year-old Diana Escalante.
Cada minuto, cada segundo, cada instante, siempre, siempre.
And why would one of her Antioch High School classmates, 17-year-old Solomon Henderson, gun her down in cold blood?
Once we saw how many chat rooms he was involved in, how many social media platforms he had, the lengths he went to cover it up, we realized it was a lot bigger than we could ever imagine.
Perhaps most troubling are the clues that continue to haunt the people involved in the investigation of the January 2025 school shooting. Clues suggesting that while Henderson may have pulled the trigger, someone else, somewhere, was calling the shots.
So when it comes to the Antioch shooting, he was targeted at a very young age. This wasn't something that happened overnight. It was cultivated through years.
Captain Chris Dickerson heads the Metro Police Department division that investigates the threats from extremists. You say targeted. Someone was using him as a pawn in their game?
Yes, sir. A pawn, using him as a weapon, an extension of what they wanted to happen.
Is there any doubt in your mind that he had somebody somewhere egging him on?
No.
Dr. Amy Cooter is one of the founders of the Institute for Countering Digital Extremism, and she has carefully followed the Antioch High School shooter's digital trail.
Whether that person knew exactly what he was planning and for what date, I don't know, but I think there were several people in his ear saying, yes, commit some violence, commit some attack. This is a good thing.
Solomon Henderson, they believe, had become ensnared in a dark web known as Nihilistic Violent Extremism, a network of various groups, some with neo-Nazi connections, groups like the Maniacs Murder Cult, Order of Nine Angles, and No Lives Matter. They target kids in online spaces, some as young as elementary school, hoping to get control of their minds and make them do their bidding.
Teaching them to hate themselves, to hurt themselves, using some of those early actions to blackmail them into hurting other people in some cases.
In his manifesto, Henderson thanked the people he called my handlers, adding, "You helped me along with my journey through the process of hate. You taught me how to hate, and it will change the world." And you think he did have handlers who were kind of calling some of the shots?
Yes. Yeah, yes, I do. That's why he posted certain things. That's why he streamed portions of the event. We believe he was trying to appease them.
In fact, Dickerson suspects another incident where Henderson had brought a box cutter to school and threatened another student may have been one of his tests.
And we believe so. We believe that was them working up to see how far can we get him to go.
Investigators believe one of those influencers may have been this man, known as Commander Butcher. Mikhail Chikikbishvili from the former Soviet Republic of Georgia led a neo-Nazi extremist group known as the Maniacs Murder Cult. Authorities say Henderson left behind a recording where he claimed he carried out the shooting on behalf of that group, along with another related group known as 764.
And that's something we see, that a lot of these groups are tied to other countries, and that's what's scary.
Maniacs Murder Cult has now been classified as a terrorist organization by Canada and the United Kingdom. Is some of this potentially state-sponsored?
Connecting those dots on paper is a little tricky, but we have reason to think that some of this is intentional and coming from outside the United States.
Countries that want to sow chaos in our society.
Yes, absolutely.
In the case of Mikhail Chikikvishvili, the man accused of influencing Henderson, he recently pleaded guilty to federal charges of devising a plot to murder racial minorities and others in New York City on New Year's Eve by dressing up as Santa Claus and handing out candy laced with poison.
This has really been heavily influenced by something we call militant accelerationism, which just means that there are people who think society as it exists is really bad, that it's coming to some kind of close, and it's their job to make that end of society happen even faster.
It's a theme that's repeated throughout Solomon Henderson's manifesto. You have this image, and then the West has fallen, billions must die. Accelerate, accelerate, accelerate. What does that tell you?
That's clearly an accelerationist call with the text, right? This idea that society should meet its end sooner rather than later. These folks don't know what's going to come after that cataclysm, but their argument is it must be better than whatever we have right now.
Then there's this drawing that the shooter left behind. On the character's arm is a reference to another extremist group, O9A, the Order of Nine Angles, a group that combines neo-Nazism with Satanism and the dark world of the occult.
It's also signaling rape as an act, which is seen as a disruptive tactic for some accelerationists, something that's socially harmful, something that's promoted in some of these spaces.
We're pouring every resource we can into identifying the signs and symbols because they are out there.
As for Captain Dickerson's team, they're now making investigating this online extremism facing our children a top priority, hoping to interrupt the next Solomon Henderson before he or she becomes an instrument of these extremists' hate. The more you learn about these groups, what is your biggest fear?
You know, as a parent as well, and obviously as law enforcement, my biggest fear is that we're going to have another incident like a Covenant or like Antioch. It's that we're going to miss something during the investigation, that we can't stop it before it happens.
Now, we wanted to let you hear the recording where Solomon Henderson himself gave credit for his shooting to these two groups, but police told me that they could not release it because of a case still pending against Solomon Henderson's mother.
And Phil, like we said, truly the scary part of this all is these groups continue to target children, even those right here.
That's right. Police say they're encountering this all the time. They target them in online games like Roblox. Tomorrow night at 6, we're going to reveal new details about another incident at a Nashville school. And most importantly, we're going to walk you through step by step exactly how these groups work. These groups work so parents can see for themselves and protect their own families.
Because we often feel a couple of steps behind these groups,
Exactly.
and you have to be so engaged and so involved.
And it's fascinating when you see how this plays out.
And frightening.
Absolutely.
Okay, Phil, thank you.